Every school wants to have traditions. Every school tries to hang their hat on traditions. No school has traditions like Georgia Southern does.
That's usually one of the first questions you get on a road recruiting. People want to know what the story is on the yellow school buses.
Man, I think the yellow school buses is one of the greatest traditions in college football because it's very unique to Georgia Southern.
Well, what is tradition now was something that we had to do when I was here. Back in the 80s, the school bus was the way we got to the stadiums. We did not have facilities on campus, but we did sing the Valley song from Hannah Fieldhouse all the way to the stadium. So it was something that I've always enjoyed. And when I got here, it was a little different, but it was definitely something that I think the kids and the whole community buys into.
I don't think you get any more blue collar than the yellow school buses. They're not pretty, they're definitely not new, but they serve their purpose. They get us back and forth to work every day.
You know, the seats tore up, the windows are down, but the kids always embrace the tradition. Kids, you know, these days, you know, they want it nice, but they don't complain about that because they know what it means to this program.
You hear about it when you come in, but it's real secretive too. And there's some things that you can't understand until you experience them. And to me, that's kind of part of the fun of the yellow school buses, because you kind of anticipate what it's going to be like.
This place is legendary. And I told Coach when I interviewed for the job and when I was looking to get hired here that I'd heard about the traditions and I knew about the school buses and those kind of things. And I was excited to be part of it.
It's the history with those things. You think about all the players and coaches that have ridden those same school buses and all the great things we've done in this program. And I think that's a really special part of this program.
The examples, the symbolism of, coming from very little and then growing into what we have as a program, as a university. Those yellow buses just continue to remind you of what your roots are. Lots of times when we recruit kids, at first when you start talking about yellow buses, I mean, it's a surprise, and it's more like, well, what are you talking about, Coach? And then when you start getting into the meat of it and start talking about, hey, this is what it stands for, and we continue to honor that by riding those yellow school buses on game day and remembering where we came from, that to me makes that tradition one of the best in the country because it is unique to Georgia Southern.
But the thing that I took time to really soak in was sitting outside those buses, smelling the diesel, and then looking at all the dirt in the floor, and to think at all the people, all the blood, the sweat, the tears, the players, the sacrifices that had been on those school buses before I take a step.
The yellow buses are kind of the highlight of the pregame for me. I think it is for a lot of the players. The hype that's involved as we circle through campus, the fans that start lining up, beating on the buses, rocking the buses, shaking them.
And the vibe and the environment that I got to experience on that bus was something that still gives me goosebumps today, that I'll never forget. And this is a true story. I got off the bus at the start of the Eagle Walk. I went over and I found Coach Lunsford. I shook his hand and I said, now I understand. I'd heard about it, I knew about it, I thought I did. I had no idea until I got off that bus game day what it meant to be on that bus on game day at Georgia Southern. It's something that I'll never forget.
The yellow school buses are probably my favorite. Enjoy that ride so much before the game. Being with kids, being able to go through that process, and it just being a guy who played a lot before these guys have, and understanding that tradition of being on buses, traveling here, traveling there, and how we handle that prior to a game, especially our home game, is very special. It's a great deal, and really gets our kids going.
When I was told that I was going to be the one driving the yellow school buses, in particular the first yellow school bus, the one that Coach Lunsford rides on, that was probably the most nervous I've ever been. You want to get it perfect, and you just know that, all eyes are on you.
And I'm telling you, literally the hair on the back of my neck stood up. It was phenomenal, the rush of adrenaline that I got. And so from there on out, once they start singing the Valley song, it's just noise, and it's a riot in the buses until we get to the stadium. So It is so, to me, it is so Georgia Southern.
And the first time I rode on that yellow school bus, man, the hairs on my neck stood up. I mean, just listening to that song and just seeing the fans out there, I mean, it's just an amazing experience.
Being able to ride one, I don't think anyone ever forgets that ride, and the emotion that just brings up. It just screams blue collar, it screams Georgia Southern, and everyone knows when they see them yellow dogs running around, turn that corner, that is game time. I mean, it's a special thing. I think it's the greatest tradition in all of college football.